All right, let's get right into it. Deep inside your body, working around the clock, are two of the most amazing and honestly underappreciated organs you've got: your kidneys. You can think of them as the body's master filters, just tirelessly cleaning your blood to keep everything in perfect balance. Today, we're going to see just how powerful they really are. To really get a sense of the sheer scale of their work, just look at this number: 180 liters. That's how much fluid your kidneys filter out of your blood every single day. I mean, to put that in perspective, that's enough to fill a bathtub. Your entire blood supply gets a full cleaning about 36 times a day. It is just an incredible piece of biological engineering.
But this brings up a really fascinating question. If your kidneys are filtering 180 liters, how come you only produce about 1.5 liters of urine? Where does the other, 99% of all that fluid go? Well, the answer lies in a microscopic world of unbelievable efficiency.
So, to solve this little mystery, we need to shrink down and go inside the real functional unit of the kidney. It's called the nephron. And get this, you have about 1.3 million of these tiny little factories packed into each one of your kidneys. They are the true workhorses doing all the heavy lifting we're about to see.
Our journey starts right here, at the glomerulus. You can think of it as the high-pressure entry point to the factory. It's this unique little tangled ball of capillaries where blood comes in under way more pressure than pretty much anywhere else in the body. And that pressure's the key. It's the force that literally squeezes fluid out of the blood and into the nephron to get the whole filtering process started.
Now, what makes this filter so special is how incredibly selective it is. It's basically a 3-layer security system. The first layer has these big pores, but they're just small enough to block the really big stuff, like your blood cells. The second layer is this kind of gel-like membrane that acts like a force field, using a negative charge to push away important proteins. And then that final layer is made of these specialized cells that create these tiny little slits, acting as one last superfine size check. It is just so precise.
And here you can see the result of all that security. As the blood rushes through, all the small stuff, like water, waste products, glucose, and salts, gets pushed out. That becomes something called filtrate. But all the important stuff, your blood cells, platelets, and those big proteins like albumin, they all stay safe inside the blood, exactly where they belong.
Okay, so we filtered the blood, but wait a second. Remember our original question? We just pushed out 180 liters of fluid, and it's full of things our body definitely still needs. So that brings us to the second, and you could argue the most important stage of this whole process: reabsorption.
And here it is. This is the answer to our mystery. You can see it right here. Of those 180 liters that get filtered every day, an incredible 99% of it gets reabsorbed right back into the body. Only that tiny little fraction left over actually becomes urine. See, the kidney isn't just a filter, it's a master recycler, and it's constantly fine-tuning what stays and what goes.
So what exactly are we pulling back? Well, the nephron's tubules act like this super efficient recycling center. They actively pull back huge amounts of sodium, and water just naturally follows right behind it. They also reclaim 100% of really valuable stuff like glucose and amino acids, all while perfectly balancing vital electrolytes to keep your body's chemistry just right. I mean, this whole system is just a masterpiece of biology. But what happens when something goes wrong? The amazing thing is, the kidneys often send us really clear signals when there's a problem. All we have to do is look at the final product, our urine. Here are a few of the key warning signs. Finding sugar in the urine, that's called glycosuria, and it can point to high blood sugar. Seeing protein, a condition called albuminuria, suggests that filter's damaged. And yeah, finding blood or white blood cells are definitely major red flags for damage or some kind of infection.
Now let's just focus on albuminuria for a second. Remember that big protein, albumin, that the filter's supposed to keep locked in the blood? Well, if it starts showing up in the urine, that's a direct sign that the glomerular filter, that 3-layer security system we talked about, is damaged. It's become leaky. It's a really serious clue that something is wrong at the very first step of filtration.
Now, glycosuria tells a totally different story. It's not about a leaky filter, it's about an overwhelmed recycling center. See, the tubules have a limit to how much glucose they can grab back, something called a tubular maximum. When your blood sugar gets too high, usually above 180, the tubules just can't keep up. It's like a conveyor belt moving too fast, and the extra sugar just spills right over into the urine.
But sometimes the problem is much, much bigger than just a leak or an overflow. Sometimes the entire system faces a sudden and catastrophic failure. This is what we call acute kidney injury, or AKI.
AKI is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. a rapid, sudden shutdown of kidney function. It's marked by this sudden inability to get rid of waste products, so they start to build up in the blood, and at the same time, urine output just plummets. It's a true medical emergency.
Now, AKI can be triggered by a number of really severe conditions, especially in people who are already critically ill. A massive infection, or sepsis, is a major cause. So is a sudden loss of blood volume, which is called hypovolemia. Even certain medications, or a failing heart, can deal a devastating blow to the kidneys.
An AKI isn't just an on or off switch, it's a spectrum of severity. Doctors actually stage it from stage 1, which is a more mild injury, all the way up to stage 3, which is basically complete organ failure. Each stage means a greater loss of that vital filtering and balancing function that keeps us alive.
So what happens when the kidneys completely shut down? When the body can't clean itself anymore, how do we survive? For this kind of crisis, we have a really remarkable life-saving solution: dialysis.
Dialysis is quite simply an artificial kidney. It's a machine that steps in and does the job that the failed kidneys just can't do anymore. Its whole purpose is to restore the body's delicate equilibrium by pulling off excess water, clearing out toxic waste, and fixing dangerous imbalances in your body's chemistry.
So when do doctors make that call? Well, they look for specific critical thresholds. When waste products in the blood, measured by things called BUN and creatinine, hit these critically high levels, that's a key sign. Dangerously high levels of electrolytes, like potassium, are another huge red flag. And when the body is just so overloaded with fluid that it can't get rid of it, dialysis becomes absolutely essential for survival.
You know, just pausing on this for a moment really brings it all home. After seeing what happens when they fail, you can truly appreciate the natural brilliance of a healthy kidney. It really is the most efficient recycling system on the planet, doing a job that even our most advanced machines can barely replicate.
And this is why all of this matters to you personally. This isn't just some abstract science lesson. Everyday things can mess with this delicate system. Common pain relievers like NSAIDs can actually reduce blood flow to the kidneys. Just being dehydrated lowers the pressure they need to filter properly. Even the acid in some sodas can add stress. Protecting them really starts with understanding them.
Which, of course, leaves us with the most important question of all. Knowing just how vital and complex these organs are and how surprisingly vulnerable they can be, what can we all do in our daily lives to protect our own master filters? That's a question definitely worth thinking about.